Hey, what's up, y'all? This is KLA, Clyde the Wanderer. I have a guest, very educational interview today. So, and her name is Chelsea Secord. She's a certified instructor. She has a story to tell, welcome, Chelsea. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me, man.
No problem. So, where you from? You from Colorado?
Colorado. I was born in Aurora, Colorado, which in Colorado, the place I grew up, it was kind of known to be the hood of Colorado.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I met one person in Colorado, but she wasn't a bodybuilder. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, I kind of stumbled across you on Instagram, and you have like a I would say, an interesting story. Like I would say, an educational story. You know.
Yes. It's a very in-depth story, very interesting turnaround for sure. But
Yeah.
grateful for every piece of it because it led me to where I am today.
Yeah. So we're gonna start from the beginning. How do you got into bodybuilding?
Sure. So, long story summed up short. Um, I remember struggling with eating disorders and body dysmorphia and just not feeling good enough per se. I mean, from the early ages of 7, 8 years old. And I remember asking my dad, I was overweight as a kid, pretty obese little kid. And I remember asking my father to buy me Slim Fast when I was 8 years old and trying to do as many sit ups as I could because I thought that would help me lose weight. And obviously that didn't work. And fast forward a couple years, and I was watching a documentary about one of my favorite actresses who was talking about how she'd used speed to lose weight. And I
Mm,
was 11 years old at this time. And I didn't stick around to watch the rest of the documentary about how it ruined her life and how she went to jail and how, it was so bad for her. All I did was call this guy that I'd smoked pot with one time at this time and asked him if he could get me speed. And I started using speed at 11 years old to lose weight. And I did, and I became addicted more so to the losing weight part than even the drug itself. But fast forward years of that, I got sick of seeing my friends go to jail and die, and I quit using speed at the time of I was 17. But I never dealt with the underlying issues of like not feeling worthy, the eating disorders, the body dysmorphia. I just quit using. And I went on to have a normal-ish life. I got married. I had a child. I went to surgical, like a scrub nurse school. So I was a certified surgical scrub. So I was scrubbing into surgeries and brain surgeries and all these different crazy surgeries. I was like the surgeon's left-hand man. I got to just do some cool stuff. But I was still not happy, and I was still
one second, folks. She's in the car. I
there.
know. I know.
Sorry.
Y'all see that.
Okay.
No problem.
But so anyways, so all that was happening, and then it was after I had my daughter. I put on 110 pounds with my pregnancy. So I was 253 pounds after I had her, and I'm 5'2". So I showed every single pound of that. I was probably the worst, heaviest I've ever been. And unhappy in my marriage, unhappy in my life, and perfect storm arose, and I relapsed on my drug of choice, on amphetamines, probably when she was about 6 months old. And from there, I went down this deep rabbit hole, this dark place. I was using and lost my job. I was going through a divorce, not in a good place. And I'd actually picked up a couple charges in my addiction, and I was in jail, and I was looking at some time. And I remember
Mm,
telling myself, well, you know what, Chelsea, you have all this time. Let's try something you've never done before. Let's try to eat healthy and work out while I'm inside. And a couple weeks in, I realized I loved it. I loved working out, and I loved the way it made me feel. And a couple of the guards that were cool would sneak me in Men's Health magazines, and I would do the workouts in there, and then I would practice with the other girls in there. I'm like, let me train you, you know. And I got results. I saw them getting results, and by the grace of God, I ended up getting one more chance, and I got to go to a treatment center that I was there for almost 2 years, and it was like a behavior modification treatment center. They actually closed it down, but it was known to be one of the hardest treatment centers in the country, called the Haven, the Pier 1 program. And it's like a military boot camp on steroids. Like, it's crazy, but it saved my life, and it gave me the opportunity to really dive into those layers of my onion and the way I was thinking and create new behaviors. And all throughout that, I stuck to working out and eating healthy and figuring things out. And while I was there, my first job out was a janitor in a gym. And I absolutely loved that job. I knew that I needed to work in some kind of healthy environment. I knew I couldn't work in a restaurant. I couldn't work in a fast food place. Like, I needed something that was going to support my desire for health and fitness, and and not go back to anything that would ever lead me into that kind of lifestyle. So a job popped up for Crunch Fitness as the janitor in this gym, making $11 an hour, and I was sold. I went in, got the job, and within 1 year, I went from janitor to the general manager of several clubs in the area and the lead fitness trainer. It supported me in getting my personal training certification. It was a really cool platform to help me grow as a person, as somebody in fitness, all the while, still doing my recovery thing. I'm really big into 12 steps. I'm really big into recovery programs throughout this whole time. So anyways, that's kind of what led me into that aspect. And then now, fast forward a couple more years, I met my now boss. I was feeling like something was missing. I was doing great in training. I was doing great in just life in general, but something was missing. I was feeling unfulfilled all the way. And I met my boss at a 12-step meeting, and he was looking for some punching bags for this gym he was about to open up that was going to be free for addicts in recovery that were in treatment or coming out of jails. And I was like, really? I was like, do you have staff for this place yet? And he's like, no, not yet. I was like, dude, I'll quit my job right now and I will come run this place for you. So I did. And I now run this community center. We have a couple of them now, called Paradigm One or Hazelbrook Recovery and Hazelbrook Sober Living Homes. And it's been a huge platform for me to help grow just what I can do to give back, right? It's not just about the fitness. I do free fitness classes at the center for people in recovery. So anybody can come in as long as they haven't used anything in 24 hours. They can get free coaching advice from me. And so through that, while I was feeling unfulfilled with like my job, I was also like hit this plateau of fitness. I was like, I want more. And I'm an addict. You know what I mean? I want more. I always want more. I want more of whatever I got. So bodybuilding was the one. I'd done CrossFit. At this point, I'd done Olympic lifting. I'd done powerlifting. But there was something more. I was like, I haven't dabbled in this bodybuilding thing. And so finally, I looked up my coach. I was looking up a person that was in town that I could maybe possibly cross-reference and communicate with. And I found my coach, Ivana Wilkin, Brett Wilkin and Ivana. They're pretty well known in the bodybuilding world. She was I think 5-time Olympian. He's going to compete at his first Olympia this year. So they're a tag team. Team Conquer Culture is my team. But I contacted her, asked if she was taking on clients, and she said yes, by the grace of God, which she doesn't do all the time. And I just started hitting it. And my body started changing. Everything, my mindset, my drive, my determination, like everything changed. And I reached new levels of not just like my fitness and my body, which is crazy. Like what I started out 20 years ago was to lose weight, right? My body's changed, but that was the tip of the iceberg at this point. It was everything about me as a person was changing. My determination, my resilience, my perseverance, my work ethic, like everything was getting better. And it's like I learned how to harness this thing that I have in me of an addict. I always want more. I want to do more. Uh, and I put it in the place that it needed to be. And I always tell people this because people are, is this healthy? Like, are you sure this is a healthy thing for you? And, I don't, sometimes I wonder about it. I always keep it in the forefront of my brain to keep a look at it, right? And I think if I would have found bodybuilding before I found recovery, before I found my program of abstinence from I've almost 7 years clean of all drugs, all alcohol, all everything. If I would have found bodybuilding before I found recovery, it would have ruined me. But because I found recovery and then I found bodybuilding, it was a perfect synchronization for me. So that's kind of the sum up of how I found bodybuilding. And then at first it was when I told her I wanted to compete, I just went in kind of like, I'm going to do a show. We'll see what happens. But the further we got in, my coach was like, I think you might win. Like, you're going to win. So we get down to the wire, and sure as you know what, we did the branch warren in May, and I got 3 first place in figure, and I took the overall in women's physique for my first show. And it couldn't have been a better show. It was absolutely perfect. And we're now in prep. I'm 10 weeks out for nationals, USA's in California in November. So I'm hooked. I love it. And I love being able to, my clients and my people that don't think much of themselves. And I'm like, dude, if I can do this, anybody can do anything. Like, it's so encouraging. It's so cool to be able to turn all the things that I went through into hope and motivation for people that this is a drop in the bucket, dude. You can do anything you want. You just got to commit to it, So I hope that's kind of a very summed up version of how I got here.
No, that's good. I mean, I mean, like you started taking speed when you was 11 years old. Like, wow. Like when I was 11 years old, I would hear Nancy Reagan say drugs are bad and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like just say no type of stuff. But it just it's kind of it's a little bit mind blowing. Like you went through that, but it kind of things turn out to be a blessing, you know.
absolutely.
But my
Absolutely.
but my question is like knowing that bodybuilding it's really stigmatized as a sport where athletes take drugs and they pass away for various reasons. Like how do you stay cautious?
Sure. So my coach, that's actually one of the reasons I hired my coach, was because she is very, very health conscious. And that was the first thing that we talked about, is that she doesn't, she doesn't negate health. And if I was somebody who wanted to, because there's people that they don't care, you know what I mean? They will run and do whatever and do whatever kind of protocols, and they put their health at jeopardy, and they may win right off the gate. They may do really well for a year or two, but then they burn out, and their health goes to crap. So that's what I loved about my coach, is she's always worried and concerned about health first. And me being an addict, I need that. I need that check from somebody, because as evidenced by, I'll put anything in my body. So I need somebody to be like, this is not what we do. This is not what's in your best interest. This is what we do, and this is what's going to help you for right now and longevity. And ultimately, that's what I want. Is I want health now, and I want to do this for a long time, because I love this, and I want to show people that you can do it in a healthy way, because that is my big motivation today, is to be health focused. You know what I mean? I was so unhealthy physically, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally for so long, that my biggest driver today is to be overall healthy as I can be. And I have a 9-year-old daughter, and she's watching me. So I need to give her a role model to look up to always.
Yeah, yeah, I noticed. I seen your pictures, your Instagram pictures of her supporting you. I think that's cool.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. She might be
We
next.
yeah, like I know, I see it. Like I have pictures. Um, you gotta guess. Always George Page. He also makes bodybuilding bodybuilding content. He interviews bodybuilders and stuff. If you're interested, you know.
Absolutely.
And he says an amazing story on how you started where you're at now.
Thank you.
And and then he says Wendy Sanchez is from Colorado. He's talking to me.
Hmm.
So like do you get testing?
Blood
Doing
work?
yeah.
Yep, I actually just got blood work done today.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
That's good. You know,
yep,
me and you, we have a. I have, I wouldn't say that I use substance, but I've gotten in trouble in my teens and stuff like that. I was a truant in high school, and I went to group homes, and you know, I would try to get myself together, but sometimes it was hard, and I was living with my folks, and in and out, the shelter system, and then
yep,
incarcerated, and not for a very long time, but I would say like almost like a year and a half, and then like coming back to the real world, it was still a struggle, and
yeah,
just trying to get my mental health and physical health going and stuff, and especially I'm in New York City where it's really stressful, really in a quick second, and how I got to kind of maintain my mental sanity. I would do meditation.
yep.
I practice this thing it called Falun Dafa. It kind of helps me a lot, really, not a bit, but a lot. So been doing that for like 2016. Before that, I was working out and doing pull-ups and stuff, but the mind, it just wasn't there. And I was trying to do yoga as well, but it's still that mind because a lot of tests comes at you and stuff, and
Oh yeah,
it's easy for you to do the wrong thing.
oh yeah,
So yeah,
oh yeah.
so I commend
I
you
do.
on that. So
I do. At the end of my class, the way that it's structured, we'll do like 30, 45 minutes of lifting or coaching or whatever. Sometimes CrossFit, Olympic lifting, but then at the end, we'll do 10 to 15 minutes of yoga and mindfulness to slow down and to
yeah,
help people quiet those thoughts, because sometimes we will be the best, we'll let ourselves get the best of us, right? So
right,
people don't even know how to regulate their own thoughts or how to sit with themselves for 5 minutes in silence. We're always on our phones, we're always on social media. Like,
right,
people don't know how to just sit and be still and be quiet for a couple minutes. It's uncomfortable if you've never done it. So at the end of my group, I'll do like a verbal meditation walk. We'll have a recovery topic that we talk about for 10 to 15 minutes. So all the endorphins and the serotonin's flown, we talk about recovery. We talk about things that will help them as they walk out the door and they put all the pieces together, you know? It's a cool little program.
yeah. So so you was talking about your coach, like what's it like? I know you was talking highly of your coach. What's it like having a coach? Did you just stuck with one, or did you have other coaches?
No, so this is my first real coach. So before I got Ivana, I couldn't really afford a coach. That's why I got the job as the janitor in the gym, is because I knew I needed more and I couldn't afford it. So I was like, what's the best way to get free coaching is to work in a gym. So I would literally, dude, I would sweep and mop next to the trainers. I'd be like, all right, that's what they're doing. I'd listen to what they're doing. I'd go and do it on my lunch. And then I'd do it again the next day. And I'd be like, okay, that's what they're doing today. And I'd go and do it on my lunch. And then I'd ask them questions. And I was getting free coaching. And the girls at the halfway house, the treatment center I was living at, they're making fun of me. They're like, you want to clean crap on toilets for $11 an hour and blah, blah. I'm like, y'all can say what you want to say, but I'm making money. Like, to me, I'm making money. I'm in an
Yeah,
internship right now. I'm learning for free. I'm making money. And I am now. You know what I mean? From
right.
all of the journey, I'm making money now. And it's super cool. But and then, I put that forward. And then some of the other coaches there, they put me on some of their training programs for free. I didn't get in-person training. So slowly, just like figuring things out as I went by myself with as much free help that I could get, and YouTube, and following people that I looked up to and putting the pieces together with my own videos and basically coaching myself until when I got Ivana about 2.5 years ago, I just hit this plateau that I wasn't seeing what I wanted to see, and I knew that I had more in me, and I needed a coach that had been around for a while that did the things, and she's been amazing. Like, she is just the right amount of hard push. She will call me on my stuff. If I'm not working hard enough, she'll call me on it. Or if I'm needing that little bit of reassurance, she'll give it to me. So, and I know that it's her and Brett that are kind of tag teaming, and their journey's been super cool too to watch. So, yeah.
That's cool. How long she been doing bodybuilding? Like
So Ivana's been in the industry for probably about 10 to 15 years, I'd say.
okay, okay,
Yep. Her
okay,
husband too.
okay.
She used to get coached by John Meadows. I'm sure if you guys are in the bodybuilding world, you know who John Meadows was. Mountain Dog. He was
I think I
big
heard of him.
deal, big deal before he passed. So that was her coach. So I kind of feel like that's the linger down to me. And then so Brett's coach is Matt Jansen, Camp Jansen, and he's one of the biggest bodybuilding coaches in the industry right now. So I feel like I have a little trickle down of all their coaching, you know what I mean, through my coaches. Some of the best in the
Yeah,
world, man.
yeah. You got all the rage George Page. Quite often, people jump coaches to find the person that best fits them. Yeah, it's like like trying to find the best teacher for you. You know.
So here's the thing too with that is that, like, no matter if your coach is good or not good or could be better, if you're constantly changing coaches, no matter how good they are, they need
Right,
time to learn your body and to learn what works for you. So you have to sync with them for long enough to come up with a plan together and to work together. Unless, like, it's red flag after red flag and it comes to like health problems and you're like, this isn't good. Then of course you want to switch coaches, but you got to give your coach some time to learn your body. You know what I mean? So, like, as I'm coaching people, we don't even start to scratch the surface for the first 3 to 6 months. Like, I need to see, how are you ticking? How are you working? How are you thinking? Um, before we even really get to dig into to changing things around to be optimal, you know?
yeah. What's like you said you did CrossFit
Yeah.
like how long are you still doing that or
So I teach CrossFit. I don't do it because it's very, very hard, and honestly, I don't think it's very
yeah,
conducive
yes,
to do
arduous.
CrossFit
Yeah,
and bodybuilding. You have to
yeah,
kind of pick one,
yeah,
otherwise, you're going to be half-assing one or the other. You know what I mean?
yeah. You used to do like the pull-ups like over your head, like
Yeah, the kipping pull-ups.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
yeah. No, go ahead, go ahead.
I was more into, and I think it just drew me in because I remember seeing this little girl do it. She was maybe 90 pounds soaking wet, but the Olympic lifting that's in CrossFit, so like the snatches
Yeah,
and the clean and jerks and all of those movements, I love Olympic lifting. I think it's beautiful. It's hard. It's just as hard as bodybuilding, if not harder to master. But I
right.
also see lots of injuries, and I'm older. I'm in my
Yeah,
30s, my mid 30s. So, I saw it not being as long of a sport for me as bodybuilding. But I do love Olympic lifting. I think it's beautiful.
yeah. I think months back I interviewed a lady. I forgot her name. It's not coming to me. But she do a little bit. She do a little bit of CrossFit, but I don't think doesn't. She teaches people like she does movements, but it's like CrossFit incorporated and stuff. And she do like these amazing stuff. Like she'll squat and like have the weight. She'll jump like to this box
Yeah,
and she'll pull man, she's awesome. I mean, and this is other lady, her name is Jessica Graff. Like
yeah.
she's high established, she's like a ninja warrior type thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
My
yes,
boss does
she's
that kind of stuff.
yeah. That's more power to you, man. Like, cause that's a lot. That's a lot. um all the rage George Page, Mountain Dog, he coached Missy
Yes,
Truscott and Teresa Ivanchik.
yes.
Yeah,
Yep, yep.
yeah.
He was coaching Brooke Wells too for her. I want to say it was her first Olympia debut, and I think he died the day after the show. So she was pretty heartbroken about that. I remember Brooke is one of my favorite women's physique people.
Right. You got Rolando G. I think coaching yourself is good. You have to know your own body, what makes you tick.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Well, you got some nice pictures we could review, and I got a feature presentation for
Oh yeah.
you and condition. And
Yep. That was right
you
towards
ever,
my last
yeah,
show.
you ever thought about moving on to another division?
I mean, women's physique is what I definitely want to do. My last show, we did two. We did figure and we did women's physique. So my coach thinks I can go pro in figure, and I love figure. I think it's beautiful with heels. But I got the overall, this little belt right there. I got the overall for women's physique, but I
Yeah.
need more
Oh,
size.
yeah.
I need more size. So that's the goal, is to put on some size and compete in women's physique. I love the real bodybuilding posing. I think it's beautiful.
Right. Did you look at the competition that passed with the
Yeah,
Masters? Of what's
yep,
your
the
thoughts
nationals
on
that
that?
just happened. I
Yeah.
thought it was a pretty decent show. Um,
Yeah.
if I would have been a Masters at that, because I'm not going to be a Masters till September 27th, hint on my birthday, you know how
Okay.
old I am, but I would have competed in that one. So the next one that is, I'll be Masters, is going to be the USA's in Anaheim in November. So I'll be the youngest of the Masters in that show.
Love your fucking life. Tell people you love them. Talk to random strangers. Do things that you are scared to do. Fuck it, because so many of us die and no one remembers a thing we did. Take your life and make it the best story in the world. Don't waste that shit. What's your
Yep.
thoughts on that?
So I remember seeing this and reading it, and it was just the epitome of the transformation of my thought process today, because you wouldn't probably recognize it today, but before I got into recovery, before I fell down, I was a meek, quiet, passive, yes girl. Like I didn't know myself. I was so insecure, and I was so lost about what I wanted and who I was. And today it's so opposite. I am so grateful at all moments of my life. Like I love all moments of my life, the good and the bad. I'm not saying that everything's great, because it's not. There's hard days and bad times, but I'm truly grateful and present today. And I think people who go through really hard things and they take it in, I think it, if you can, your perception of it, it can alter your whole world for the good. It's changed my whole perception on life today, and I'm so grateful for things that I used to take for granted every single day. So, I've been through some hard things. Like the summary of the story I gave you was a nice summary, but there's pieces of my addiction, and in that part of my life, I was almost murdered. I was homeless for a while. Like there's some crazy stuff that happened, and they say in recovery, until the pain of changing is less than the pain of staying the same, you're going to remain the same. And I was given the gift of enough pain to change, and I changed everything. And I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah, I'm starting to kind of understand that, as people, we gonna suffer. It doesn't matter, like in this life you're gonna suffer. It has reasons behind it. It's just that we're kind of delusional or blind not to not to see it,
Yep.
because it's not in the surface. A lot of stuff. I believe in reincarnation and stuff like that, and I kind of believe that there's a reason why people go through the stuff that we go through, because if we wasn't going through, I mean, if the tribulations we have, it wouldn't exist. It's for a reason.
Yep.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I
That's what,
agree.
yeah.
I
And,
agree.
and it's not something that's overnight. I've learned it for years, because there've been situations where I'm like, damn, why am I going through this? Like, I hate my life, and I would envy the the next person. And really, it's not about that. It's just, and I'm still learning too. It's not like it's a constant reminder and studying it, you know. But a lot of people, they don't understand it, and they just keep doing bad, and
Yeah,
making things worse for
yeah.
themselves, So
Everything that's happening in our lives, I genuinely, to the core, believe it's happening for us, not to us. Everything is happening
yeah,
for us, you know?
right. Yeah, you have some
Man,
nice pictures.
thanks, man. I got to
Like,
get that lean again. I'm sitting here looking, I'm like, oh, I need to be that lean like in 2 weeks.
what's your workout routine like?
So I have a 5 day split. So I do 2 days on, and then I have a day that's only cardio, and then I do another 3 days on, and then one full rest day. But right now we are up to 50 minutes of fasted cardio 4 days a week. I'm sorry, 5 days a week, and then 2 days that are off on cardio right now. But I'm checking in on Sunday, and I have a really strong feeling that's going to change. We need to speed up the progress.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, a lot of people can't do what you do because it's like just having that discipline. Like, what motivates you when you get up in the morning to do what you do?
Man, life. Like, I know that sounds so cheesy, but like, I love my life today. Like, I'm super grateful that I get to do this. Like, things get hard, and bodybuilding is by far one of the hardest things I've done. But it is routine, it's structure, and for me as an addict, I need that. I like that. I thrive in structure and routine and perseverance, you know? So like literally it's just I wake up and it's get out of bed, get the work done, get the work done, complete the task, check the boxes, you know? Um, and it makes me feel motivated. And also I see people watching me, and I don't want to let only not only myself down, but if I can do all of this, you guys can do this until it becomes that, you know, and then that, and then that. So when I don't feel strong for myself, because there's days like that, I do it because I know I got people rooting for me, you know. So
Right.
I wouldn't trade this for the world, and I pray that God continues to allow me to do this life that I have, all of the pieces involved, because I'm truly grateful and at peace with all the pieces of my life today, you know?
Right. Do you have like I don't know, should I say role models, but like people that you know currently do bodybuilding or before? Do you have like somebody that like wow they're amazing other than your coach?
Yeah, you knew I was going to say her for sure. There are a couple people at the gym that I work out at. Shout out to Armbrust in Denver, Colorado, one of the best gyms in the world. There's some people in this gym. Sarah Corney, she's an IFBB pro. She has gone above and beyond helping me with my posing. They do a free posing class every Saturday, and I've been going to that class for 2 years. Karen Snorlin, who is the owner's wife. Heather Grace, who works out there, also an IFBB pro. Um, that environment itself has been super motivational to me. My husband, my wonderful husband, who is equally, he went through the same kind of background that I did. We went through the same treatment program, and we're each other's rock. When one of us isn't feeling strong, we pick up the slack on the other end. And he's not so much into bodybuilding. He's thought about dabbling into it, but he can't do the diet. He'll tell you
Right.
himself. He can't do the diet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that he supports you like in the video reels that you make, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
cool. Like yeah. This bodybuilders, they have husbands, they don't do bodybuilding, but they're supportive and stuff.
Yeah. And it's hard. I can only imagine being married to me those last couple of weeks. Like, I try really hard to be aware of my mood and my intentions and my
Right,
verbiage to people around me, and not to be a dick. Like, I really,
right,
really try to be intentional, but it's hard to be around us. I can only imagine, especially if you don't understand, you know, and that's another reason why you asked what motivates me. Well, if I'm going to put my family through this, right? If I'm going to put all the people around me through this, of me being moody and hungry and not being able to go to social events from time to time and having to say no or go to bed early, I'm not going to cheat on my diet. I'm going to make sure that I'm doing this 100%, because if I'm putting myself through this and all the people around me, I better be doing it all the damn way. You know what I mean? I don't want my husband to be like, "Why are you doing this?" You know what I'm saying? What if you're just going to
Right.
cheat on the diet, or you're not going to show up here? Why are we doing this? You know what I mean? So
Right.
all the way or nothing at all.
Right. But you got some comments. You got all the rage George Page. I can feel your passion, Chelsea.
Thank you.
All the rage. Ever Grace just
Yes,
came back from the Masters Olympia,
I think
got
she got
fourth.
third.
She
I think
top
she got
level
third.
legend.
I think she
Third?
got third.
Okay.
I think she got third. I have a posing session with her on Friday. I'm a little scared. She's kind of intimidating.
Yeah. How's your posing though? Like I just met this girl. Like she's like a bikini model,
Mm.
and she was showing me pictures of her like working out and stuff like that. And I was telling her that she needed a posing coach.
Mhm.
And yeah, because you can't do it by yourself.
No,
Yeah,
no, it's I honestly I wouldn't have won that show. I promise you, I wouldn't have won that show if I wouldn't have been going to Armbrust for that free posing class every
yeah.
single Saturday for 2 years.
Mm,
Fluffy, not in shape yet. All the other girls are in shape. I didn't care. I needed to get I needed to get this dance down. I need to know these steps, and I will toot my own horn. My posing's pretty dang good for a beginner. You know what I mean? I'm proud of myself for
yeah,
that.
yeah. Is it that hard? Like how many hours do you should spend time just doing the poses?
So on the weekends, at least an hour to 2 hours, and then in between all of my sets while I work out at all the gyms I go to, if I'm resting, I'm posing.
Yeah. Some people don't always look at it as a sport. They just look at it as a pageant. Like,
Yeah.
but how do you how would you educate somebody that doesn't really know bodybuilding like that well enough?
So I used to be one of those people. When I was CrossFit and I was Olympic lifting, I used to look at the bodybuilders posing in the mirror and I'd be like, those bodybuilders, they're just full of themselves and blah blah blah. And now that I've done it, I realize that it is one of the hardest sports that there is, because it's not just you go to practice and you go do it and you're on the field and then you go home and you go back to your life. Bodybuilding is 24/7, and every single little cause and effect that happens throughout the day affects every single thing that you do. So it is the most meticulous and intricate sport I've ever seen. But that's why I
Mm.
love it, because it gives me something to funnel my obsession and my compulsion into, you know?
Yeah, I only like I played sports. I played like basketball and a little bit of football, but mostly basketball, and it was a lot. But like I noticed as I started watching like bodybuilding, like it's not very easy. Like just even interacting with bodybuilders and the stuff that they tell me. Like I remember uh, a, a bodybuilder, her name is Hannah Hussein, and she was telling me about diuretics. I
Yep.
didn't know anything about that. And
Yeah.
then she was telling me like it flushes the body and stuff like that. And she didn't want to do it. Her coach was like making her do it. And so her competition was coming up. And so she was like, nah, I kind of changed coaches and I didn't want to do the diuretics and stuff. So,
So there's so many different options. And I think this is where I think it's very important as an athlete to educate yourself on things.
right.
Also, getting feedback from your coaches. But I did a lot of my own research before I hired my coach. And then while I'm still working with a coach, I am constantly educating myself. I don't just take it for granted that they know, or this is the way, or this is the only way. Like, I'm constantly improving my own knowledge of things because I want to know. And I want to be able to make an educated decision on my own, and maybe with the assistance of a coach. But there's different federations that people can compete in. Like the NPC is the federation I compete in. It's not drug tested. Um, which means like a diuretic. You know, people can use diuretics, they can use androgens, they can use fat burners, and it's this next level of competition, right? There's also the WBFF and the OCB. Those are drug tested federations where people that aren't comfortable or don't know can compete in these federations and basically have fair game. Because if you go to these untested federations, you're gonna be playing college or professional football, being a college level football player. You know what I mean? And not to
Right.
be in a derogatory way. It's a whole different ball game. So there's different options for people, but that's where you have to kind of educate yourself about what you want to do, what your boundaries are, what you want, what you don't want, and ask around, ask questions. Don't be scared to ask, you know? So yeah.
Yeah. You got Rolando G. She's married. Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
happily.
Rolando G is trying to find a bodybuilding wife and stuff, you
Man,
know. It's not very easy.
no, no, we're far and few in between, man.
Yeah. All the rage George Page. Yeah, being hungry is dangerous to
Angry,
be around
hangry.
bodybuilders. Yeah.
I carry. So it's so funny. I'll show you. I don't carry a purse. I carry a cooler that looks like a purse. It kind of looks like a purse, but it is my cooler bag with my 6 meals that I carry around with me everywhere. I never get caught without food,
Yeah.
ever.
He, yes, she has kids, Rolando. And then he says you can die from that diuretics.
If you take the wrong kind, the too much, you absolutely can. And they're not always needed. Like honestly, from what my understanding with diuretics is if you come in conditioned enough, they're not necessarily needed. So that's, person to
Right.
person dependent and coach to coach dependent, but they're not necessarily needed for people.
Yeah. And this person I was mentioning about, she got a pro card this past Sunday. I mean
Good for her.
Saturday.
Good for her.
Yeah, yeah.
Congrats.
I was happy for her. Yeah. He says
Awesome.
Andreas Muncie passed away. He was depleted. I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is?
I recognize the name. I can't put a face to it though.
Yeah. Well, we could watch this reel for the viewers. See.
Oh, I can't wait to do it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, that's just awesome, man. So you have like you're in like in a motorcycle club too, also.
Yes, so my husband and I ride with a motorcycle club called the Sober Souls. It's a whole bunch of sober people that, some of them used to gangbang, some of them used to, be in jail, just, hopeless addicts. And they all got clean. And I think we've been around for, I want to say like 15 years or so. But yeah, they just started riding together, and it's a traditional motorcycle club with the same tiers of like hangarounds, prospects, probates, and patch members. And we go do, charity rides, raise money for sober livings, and for a whole bunch of cool stuff. It's a cool gig.
Yeah, I was watching this the series. It's called Mayans.
Yeah.
It,
Oh
it
yeah.
was like yeah,
Yep.
it was
That's
a
one of my
spinoff
favorites.
to the Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of
Yeah,
Anarchy. Yep.
yeah, that was crazy, man. Like
Yes.
you did you see the final episode? What happened to
Yes.
is he? Yeah, man. I mean,
Crazy.
it caught up to him. I mean,
I know. I know.
it caught up to
Crazy.
him, and then
Hmm.
the end. It's funny because the I think the DEA they kind of drove in the Mayans headquarters and stuff like
Yep.
that. And you don't
Yep.
know who got killed or
No.
anything like
No.
that. That's mystery. It
Yep.
was a good series. I didn't see. I didn't see the Sons of Anarchy. I just seen like one episode.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
good.
I
You
need to
gotta watch
check
that
that
one.
out.
It's good.
Yeah, I need to
So our
check that
club,
out.
the structure is just like that, but instead of going to do all these like crazy bad tasks, we send
Yeah,
guys to go like go deliver money to this sober living or go help this old lady with moving a couch or go, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's for good reasons, all the things that
That's
we do.
nice.
It's cool though.
Right. That's
Yep.
cool. Like when you working out, like what music do you listen to, like to just give you that pump and edge?
Typically, I'm listening to rock most of the time, or sometimes I like some gangster rap. It depends on what I'm feeling. But I honestly just have a playlist of liked songs, and it could be anywhere from like '90s alternative rock to just those
Mm.
songs that like bring back memories that just make you like, yeah, fuck yeah, those fuck yeah songs. Sorry. Oh yeah, we were cussing on
It's
this.
okay. Don't worry about it. Don't
Okay.
worry.
Okay.
Well, Andreas was a German bodybuilder from the 80s to the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rolando, thanks you. Thanks, George. Yeah, it was sad. Yeah, well, did I cover everything? I think you answered this question, but yeah, no, what advice would you give for somebody who's struggling to stay healthy
Mm.
or healthy physically or mentally?
So it's the same advice I give my people that are getting into fitness or the people that are getting into recovery, struggling with drugs or alcohol. One day at a time. One decision at a time, one thing at a time, and one thing at a time will lead into one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time, 1 year at a time, and then you'll look back and you'll be almost 7 years in, clean for 7 years, and almost a professional bodybuilder. So don't compare your journey to other people. Your journey is your own, and control the controllables, right? Because my controllables have changed over 7 years. What I could control when I first got into fitness, I didn't have a lot of control. I was living
Right.
in a treatment center in a halfway house. I only had control over what I could eat, only so much. The schedule of when I could work out, I could only control so much, but I did what I could with what I could, right? And all of those things have changed. So control your controllables one day at a time. Pay attention to your journey and your journey only, and don't let anybody stand in your way. If people aren't aligning with your vision and with your passion, maybe you need to look at what those people, where they fit or don't fit in your life, because I've done a lot of shedding over the years of things and
Right.
people that weren't conducive with my vision and with my desires, and I'm so grateful for it. I let go of the things that weren't meant for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, did you like since you've been like a fitness instructor, like have you met somebody that turned into a bodybuilder like yourself?
Oh yeah, I've had a couple people. I actually, my client Douglas, if you go way back on my thread, he's actually one of the ones that kind of sparked me into. I forgot to mention him. He's one of the ones that sparked my interest into getting into bodybuilding. He hired me at Crunch Fitness as his trainer, and I hadn't done bodybuilding yet. I was still just kind of a power lifter, strength and conditioning coach, CrossFit coach, and he was like, I was thinking about doing a bodybuilding show. I was like, look, dude. I've never done bodybuilding. I've never coached a bodybuilding person. I don't know what I'm doing. And he's like, it doesn't matter. I love you. I believe in you. And I know you'll figure it out. So every night I went home and I was researching all this stuff about bodybuilding and how to peak somebody and what to do and what not to do and the diet and this and this and this. And I brought him in and I think he got third place in his first show. And we're actually about to start working together again soon. Take a look at his page. He's going to be a force to reckon with,
What's
Douglas.
his name again? Douglas?
It's Douglas, but his Instagram handle was Beast Mode something. But I think he took it off for a reason. So I know he's on Brooke, my client Brooke. She's also another one of my clients. They met through me. Brooke, the realtor Brooke or something. I just actually had dinner with him a couple nights ago. So it's that page and those people. But he's a beast. So he went into bodybuilding. I'm also coaching this young guy, Toby, right now, who he got clean through my class, just started coming in to work out, was going through a breakup. He's only 18, and he came to my
Mm.
show, and I've been coaching him for a couple months now. He's like, Chelsea, I want to be a bodybuilder. I'm like, all right, dude, well, let's do this because you got years to go. So we are on that path together right now. It's super cool.
Yeah, when coming up, I would watch bodybuilding. I was watching it because I wanted to work out and the women too. Like, I was like
Of
fascinated with the
course.
women and
Oh yeah.
stuff. Yeah, but yeah, and it's really not really easy, and it's like it's not a lucrative sport. Like you don't, like it's traveling and stuff, and you spend a lot of money from what I
Oh
know.
yeah. You're going to spend a lot of money before you make any money. That's for sure. If
Yeah.
you ever do make any money, I actually today I just got one of my first sponsorships. I'm changing. I was sponsored by my Fit Foods out here, and I just changed to actually Evolve Health and Wellness. They're going to be my new sponsors for my food, my health, and my supplements, and my blood work and all that stuff. Dave was actually a trainer at Crunch, and he opened up his own Evolve Health and Wellness place down in DTC down here, and he asked me if I could be an ambassador, and he's going to help take care of all the things. So I'm super looking forward to working with them. So you get cool things like that. You get to work with people, and there's little tidbits for sure. But overall, you have to really love this sport because you're not going to make a ton of money from it. You know what I mean? You just have to
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. I think I covered everything. What about no? You know what? What was it like for you? Like being in front of the stage, and what were you nervous?
Honestly, no, which blew
No.
my mind. It was so natural to me, and I was so excited, and it was such a good time. And I remember promising myself that I was going to document everything. So I took lots of pictures and lots of videos, and I wanted to go in there and just have fun. No matter what the outcome was, I promised myself that if I'm going to do this bodybuilding thing, it's going to be fun. Like I'm going to enjoy all the process. And I think that helped me not be nervous, and I won. You know what I mean? So I have to remember
Yeah.
to do that again this next time is of course you want to win. Of course you want to place. Of course you want to kick ass, but at the same time if you're not having fun doing this, what's the point? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Always George Page. Yeah. Sponsorship really helps with some of the costs of competing.
Yeah.
So you do a sponsorship, right? Somebody sponsors you.
Yeah. Yeah. Dave and
Okay.
Evolve, we just talked about today. They're going to help me with some of my foods and some of my supplementation and some of the costs to travel and stuff. So that's super cool.
Yeah.
Anything that you can do to help, and I'll rep them all day because I love Dave and I've known him for a long time.
Yeah. Like if somebody was to make like a documentary film about you, what would you want them to focus on?
Absolutely the journey from start to finish, like how addiction can happen to anybody and it happens like that, and how bad it can get, but how you can use your pain and your suffering and harness that shit and turn it into something beautiful. Um, that is truly the epitome of my story is taking that pain and harnessing it and firing it out like a slingshot, man, and turning it around.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was like, wow, like this person went through a lot. I mean, there's other bodybuilders that I remember I interviewed somebody and they had like a drug addiction and they overcome. Well, there's other bodybuilders
Yeah.
that have gone through the same path,
Yeah.
and yeah, and then
They're my people, man.
bodybuilding. Yeah, yeah. I didn't know how bodybuilding was therapeutic because it's like you know, I, I'm a schmo. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's a confession.
I love you
I do
guys.
muscle worshiping. Yeah, like I just started realizing that when I was, I would do muscle worship and all that stuff. But just kind of like the stuff that a lot of you women go through. Yeah, it's a hell of a discipline, and the stuff before, because
Yeah.
like the story with bodybuilders, like some of them, like somebody influenced them, or they had health problems and stuff like that. I didn't hear like the drug problems. I started, I would say like. listening to podcasts, other podcasts, and they was talking about the drug problems and stuff like that. So
Mm,
yeah,
yeah. It's like you said earlier, everybody struggles with something. So if I can help anybody out and give them motivation to do something better or break out of something they're struggling with, like power to. I don't judge anybody. I am no
right,
place to judge anybody. I love everybody and more power to you, whatever fucking floats your boat. You know what I mean? And if anything that I've gone through can help somebody, cool, I'm with it. You know what I mean? I'm all about it.
yeah. How long did you stay in like these recoveries and stuff like that, or
What do you mean with like how long have I been
like the
in there?
recovery centers? Yeah, like
So
when you was
I'm still working there. That's my full-time job. I also do coaching on the side, but I run the community centers. I teach free fitness classes. I go into the prisons and teach fitness classes and do
oh
motivational speaking in the prisons, guys and girls.
no, but
So
like no before like when you was was you when you was locked up and you
yeah.
was the in the recovery camps? Like,
Oh, like
am I saying that right?
in the treatment center?
Detox? Yeah, the
Yeah.
treatment
So
center. Yeah, that's
I was in jail for probably about a year and a half and then fighting my case. And then I went to the treatment center, the behavior modification place after for about 2 years too, right after that.
oh, okay. I'm always somebody says all the rage George Page. It could be money,
True.
drugs, food, or sex. Everything
True.
addictive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still struggle with binge eating. I'm not going to lie. It's been, knock on glass, it's been probably like 6 months since I've had a binge. It was before my last show, but it's something that I actively work on because I see it, my addictive nature flaring up, and I almost welcome it because it helps me see something's going on. Like, why did I binge eat? Why did I overeat here when I
Right.
wasn't hungry, right? Is it because I'm tired? Am I stressed? Am I hungry? Am I not eating right? Like, what's going on that's making me act out and do something that I know I don't want to do and that's not healthy for me? So I still struggle with things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because I don't use substances doesn't mean that I'm not struggling with stuff. It'll manifest in other areas. So,
I mean,
but I keep it at bay.
you always gonna struggle since you walking on this earth. It's always
Yep,
gonna be a struggle.
yep,
It's like a test for you. So I do appreciate it. Do appreciate you spend your time and talk sharing with me and the viewers and
absolutely.
stuff.
Absolutely. Anytime, man, you let me know. I love coming on a podcast and giving back. If it helps even one person, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Any departing words for the viewers? I think
Uh,
you just said it all. So I mean,
One day at a time, man. Live your best life.
well, thank you for coming. All
Yeah,
right,
thank you for
everybody.
having me.
No doubt. All right, everybody. It's a wrap.
Thank you.
All right, no problem.